Thank you so much for coming to this webinar. You are all on mute, but as long as you can hear me, that's great. I'm gonna have Q&A at the end. So at the end, I will answer all of your questions. So keep a note of any questions you have throughout. I am gonna be recording this, so just for privacy reasons, when I do reuse the video, I'm going to cut out the Q&A session. So any questions you ask, they will just be shared in this session, not on the recording. So let me get started. So you guys are all here for the Money Breakthrough Masterclass. I wanted to share some of the things that I see every day and some of the most important things that I do with clients when I'm doing financial planning. Now, we have two companies. We have Modern Money Education, and we also have Modern Money Financial Planning, Modern Money Advisor, which is financial planning. This webinar or this masterclass is being broadcast through Modern Money Education. So with that, I'm not giving any type of investment advice here. It's all just educational in nature. I want to tell you a little bit about why I'm doing this. So first of all, there's an epidemic, whether you know it or not. I know a lot of people don't talk about these things, but approximately almost 80% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So it is an epidemic, and it's something that people aren't talking about. You know, sometimes we're ashamed, or, you know, we've been taught not to talk about money. We never learn any of this in school, so we can go through, you know, high school, college, grad school. No one's ever taught us about personal finance. And unless you're blessed enough to have parents that have taught you this, you don't know it. And looking at this statistic, the truth of the matter is, you know, 80% of the people in the US really are lacking in financial literacy. So the chances of your parents having taught you are pretty slim. So what I wanted to cover today are the three things that I think are most important. A lot of times when people come to me, they ask me for investment advice and things like that, but I'm telling you, these three things are more important than investment advice. And I can talk about investment advice all day, and maybe I'll do another, you know, training on investing and the basics of investing. But today we're going to talk about these things because, in my opinion, these are the roots of the tree. They're the foundation of your financial picture. So we're going to talk about mindset and how to change your limiting views around money. We're going to talk about how to stick to a budget. Probably about 95% of the people that meet with me don't have a budget at all. And then those that do, they complain that it's, you know, impossible to stick to their budget. They're not doing a good job at sticking to it. So I'm going to talk about how I teach people to stick to a budget. And then also how to go about attacking debt. So at the end, I'm going to be sharing my budget template that I'm going to be going over it with you guys, but then I'm going to be giving you my budget template. I'm also going to be sending you all a Modern Money Education Breakthrough Workbook. And we're also going to have Q&A at the end of this. So stay tuned to the end so that you can ask any questions. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and start asking them, and they'll line up in order. And then at the end of the session, I will go through and answer questions. So a brief introduction about me. My name, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Angela Moore, and I am a certified financial planner. I also have a master's degree in financial planning, and I'm a certified financial education instructor as well. I've been in the industry of financial planning for about 13 years now, and I've been in finance for about 17 years. And I've gone all over the country speaking at schools and churches and corporate organizations, doing workshops and seminars and all of that, teaching people about money. This is my very first time doing a webinar, so I was really nervous and just hoping I didn't have any tech difficulties. So thank you again for being on my very first webinar. I'm thankful for all of you. But I want to tell you about my story and how I became a financial advisor and why I became a financial advisor and a money education instructor. When I was younger, coming right out of college, first of all, I had really bad money habits. My mother and my family, they kind of, my mother's side of the family had money. My father's side of the family, not so much. But I grew up seeing my mother, you know, go shopping on the weekends for fun and just kind of buy whatever she needed, whatever she wanted. And when I got into college, I was on full scholarship. So luckily I didn't have student loans. All of my school was paid for. And I had a job where I was making significant income in college. I was bartending, waitressing, things like that. And I had no bills. And I would go out and I would just shop. I would go to BCBG. I'd drop $1,500 on a Tuesday like it was nothing. And I started saving and you know, had good credit and things like that. Went out and bought a car. And then when I graduated college, I started earning a good amount of money at a very young age. I was earning about $180,000 a year working in finance in the car business. And I was like a kid in the candy store. I was like a toddler in the grocery aisle. Like anything I wanted, I bought it. It didn't matter what it was. I remember one time I went into Gucci with my mom and the people in the store were like, "Hey, Angela." And I was like, "No, you don't know me." So I really had a serious problem with shopping. That was my issue. Everyone that I interact with, that I've worked with in terms of clients, everyone has different things they spend money on. For me, it was shopping. You know, some people it's travel, some people it's eating out. It's just different for everyone, but mine was shopping. And I also, in the car business, I was the person that you came to when you were buying a car and I checked your credit and got you approved for a car loan and all that. And what I was seeing over and over again is that people would come in and, you know, they would be in their 50s and 60s. Some of these people were making $800,000 a year and people didn't have a down payment for the car, or they had horrible credit or what have you. And I started to see that, man, this is an epidemic. I can't believe how many people don't have $1,000 saved for a down payment on a car, don't have good credit. And I'm talking about doctors and lawyers and everybody. It didn't matter. It wasn't only low income people. It was people that were making hundreds of thousands of dollars that were living paycheck to paycheck, didn't have money for a down payment, anything like that. And so long story short, I was making good money too. I went out, I bought a fully loaded E-Class Mercedes, got tired of that, traded it in, got the brand new SLK pictured here, Mercedes-Benz. I was 25 years old. You know, my car note on this car right here was $890 a month. I went and bought a condo on the water. It had a golf simulator, a pool, a workout center. It was everything I wanted. I didn't like the kitchen, so I took the little bit of savings I had and I renovated the kitchen. This was the before picture. So I didn't like, you know, the countertops and cabinets or whatever. So I went and had all that redone, spent most of my savings. And also had, like I said, a bad shopping habit. If you ask some of my friends from back in the day, they'll tell you, even, you know, in college and right after college, I was, you know, wearing just designer brands. And I felt like I could afford it. Like, I have this money coming in, I can afford to buy these things. What's the big problem? I was saving, but I didn't really know how much I should be saving. Should I be saving $300 a month, $1,600 a month? I mean, I was just kind of saving whatever and doing whatever with my money. I didn't really have any goals of like thinking big. I kind of felt like I'm there. I got a car, I have a apartment, you know, a condo, and I can pay my bills and I'm straight. And so what started to happen was that I found myself in credit card debt. I had $18,000 of credit card debt. I had a car note, right, that I had to pay $890 a month on, and I had a mortgage. And one day it clicked in my head, I don't actually own anything. I have all these clothes in my closet, but I have credit card debt. And I have this condo, it's a beautiful condo, but I don't own it. I have a mortgage. And I have this, you know, luxurious car, but I don't own that either. I have a car note on this car. And at one point, after I had renovated my kitchen, we had a really bad month at work and I only made $2,000 and it wasn't even enough to cover my mortgage. And I remember thinking, if this happens again next month or the month after, I'm going to be in trouble because I don't really have a whole lot of savings, especially after I renovated my kitchen. I didn't have a ton of savings. And I thought, if this doesn't work, what am I going to do? I'm 20, 25, 26 years old. Where am I going to go get a job making this kind of money? How am I going to replace this income if I need to get a new job? And I got freaked out and I started trying to find a financial advisor. Nobody wanted to work with me because I didn't have assets. I just had debt. And so I finally found this one guy, and he listened to my story and he said he would help me, but it would be $1,600, and that he felt like it was his public duty. And I remember thinking, $1,600? You must be out of your mind. I'm not paying $1,600. And then I went home and I remember in my closet, there was a pair of Gucci shoes for $700. And I thought to myself, you are so dumb. You're investing all this money, spending all this money on stupid stuff, and you haven't invested anything in yourself. And so I went back to this guy. I actually put the fee on a credit card and started working with him. And that first meeting, he was like, no more shopping. You have enough crap in your closet. No more eating out. Learn how to cook. No more cable TV. Hang out with your friends. Read a book. Do. And he really started to change. What have you. Dollars advertising to you, trying to get a piece of your income. Can you guys hear me now? I see Saint. Okay, awesome. So he said, these companies are spending billions of dollars trying to get a piece of your income. And every time you decide to spend, you're making them rich. Every time you decide to save, you're making yourself rich. And that stuck with me for years. And I say that to everyone that I come across. So after that, I started making huge lifestyle changes. And by this time, I had been working with the advisor maybe about 1.5 years, 2 years. And I quit my job and I decided that I wanted to become a financial advisor. I wanted to have this kind of impact on people's lives. I wanted to go change people's lives. And I knew there were a lot of people out there like me, a lot of people that needed help, but no one was willing to help them. And a lot of people living in debt, because I had seen it every day when I was in the car business. I was seeing people living paycheck to paycheck. And so I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to live on $2,000 a month. Any income that I make over that, I'm going to save. And my goal was that in 5 years, I wanted to have $150,000 cash saved. I'm not talking about in my 401k. I'm talking about I wanted to have $150,000 in the bank. And so I did it. I did exactly what the advisor told me. No more cable TV. I started cooking. If I did go out with my friends, I would order water. I would order something inexpensive on the menu. I stopped shopping. It was true. I had enough stuff in my closet. I didn't need anything else. And so I started to change my life. 5 years later, I didn't have the 150, but I had close to it. I had $142,000 saved. And that next year after that, I got to the 150, and I just kept on going. And so now what I'm doing is I'm helping other people to do the same. And what's hard about it is that everyone around you is doing the opposite. Everyone around you, if you think about the statistics, if 80% of people are living paycheck to paycheck, that means 8 in 10 people that you know are living paycheck to paycheck. That means your friends, your family, people around you are living paycheck to paycheck. So in order for you to get out of the rat race, in order for you to start building wealth and pay off debt and just reach financial freedom, you basically have to do what other people are not willing to do. Okay. And it all starts with mindset. Okay. You could know how to budget. You could know all these things, but if you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to do it. You're not going to stick with it. So mindset, and this is a huge area of focus in the financial planning world. We study behavioral finance. When I did my master's degree, we wrote papers on this. We did research on this. This is huge. It's all about our decision making. So I'm going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about money mindset, having a purpose for your money. If I have a goal for my money of saving $150,000, I'm not necessarily going to feel like, oh, I have $2,000 extra this month. Let me go blow it at the mall. Let me go blow it on this car. Let me go blow it on this vacation, right? If I have a goal I'm trying to meet, I'm going to be consciously thinking like, wait, hold up. I need to put this money towards this goal, whatever that, if I want to buy a house, if I want to, whatever, start this business, I want to quit my job, whatever it is that's your goal, having a goal makes a huge difference. And writing it down and understanding how much it's going to take, that's important. The other thing, when you are spending money, you're out here like, hey, you want some? You want some? You're just giving it all away. You need to be more aware and you need to be selfish and start keeping your money for yourself. And also, this is huge. You have to be aware of your emotional habits, right? Sometimes after a long week, you're exhausted, you've been working hard, maybe you're kind of sad and down. So what do? You go spend money on something. It's different for everyone. It might be a vacation, whatever you're spending money on. You have to be aware that we're human. And a lot of times we make decisions based on emotions, specifically fear or greed. So you want to be aware of what's driving me to spend this money. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about budgeting, knowing how much you make. You can't believe how often I meet with people and I say, well, how much money are you making? I'm not sure. Let me look it up. You don't know how much money you make? Who else is supposed to know how much? You're the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer of yourself. You need to know how much you make. And you also need to know where is all this money going. You know that feeling when you just feel like, man, money's just disappearing. I thought I had X amount in my account, but I don't. It's just disappearing. Well, that's because you don't know where your money's going. So that's what a budget serves its purpose, is knowing what's coming in, what's going out, and then allowing you to be decisive and saying, hey, I'm going to take control of how I want to allocate my money. I'm going to determine where I want to put my money, and I'm going to consciously make those decisions rather than just kind of winging it. The third thing I'm going to talk about is debt elimination and also just avoiding debt. Debt is the number one reason people do not save. It's the number one reason people don't accumulate wealth. Okay. And I'm talking about people are retiring now. Baby boomers are retiring, and 70% of them have not saved enough for retirement. Just imagine what that feels like, that you've been working your whole life and you don't have money saved. So debt is a steam killer. It's a motivation killer. It's a wealth blocker. You need to attack debt like nothing else. Now, a mistake that I see a lot of times is people will attack debt and they won't save. You need to be doing both, because you don't want to wake up 15 years from now or 30 years from now and not have any savings. You want to make sure that you're saving and aggressively paying off debt at the same time. So I'm going to talk about that. A simple rule of personal finance is spend less than you make. And I know that sounds so easy, but so many of us aren't doing that. So many of us are spending more than we make. So I'm going to talk about that. And then lastly, and this is my secret, or my secret weapon, I should say, is automation. I talked about the emotional side of us being human, right? If you automate, you're taking the emotions out of it. You're no longer making that decision. It's happening automatically. So that's how I really help people stick to their budget and start aggressively paying off debt, is automating it. As soon as you get paid, that money's coming out automatically and you're not even seeing it. I'm going to talk about what sinking funds are and also having a spending account. So, what are some of the common issues that people have around money? Some of you may have, these feelings yourself, but oftentimes there's feelings of avoidance. You just don't want to even look at your situation because it's overwhelming. You may be unorganized, so you just aren't really even sure what you have and that kind of thing. You feel like there's no time because you're working all the time, you're working out, between all of that, there's no time to sit down and look at financial stuff. You're making emotional decisions, you're in denial, so you think everything's fine when in reality it may not be. Or you feel guilt, like I really could be doing better, and so you feel shame and it's stifling. It holds you back from having a positive attitude on moving forward. You may feel hopeless, especially those of you that have debt. That can feel hopeless, but I'm going to show you today how to start addressing debt and how to start moving the needle on that. You may feel like you're not where you want to be at your age or what have you. It's hard to find balance. You feel stuck. Maybe you're spending too much and you just can't really figure out how to reduce your spending, or you're just not saving, or you're saving but you're not investing. And what are some of the solutions? So number one, I mentioned this, a budget and a spending plan. A budget is different than a spending plan, okay? A budget is one of those words that sounds restrictive and like, oh, I need to go on a diet, right? But a spending plan is more like, I'm making a lifestyle change. I'm going to eat healthy and I'm going to, do these things. That's what a spending plan is. A spending plan is like, I'm going to allocate this amount to vacation and this amount to this, and I'm going to plan how I'm spending my money. So that's a much more positive way of looking at it. Automating your finances, I mentioned that. Reducing emotional decisions. So now that I've mentioned this and you've thought about it, you're going to start thinking like, is this an emotional decision or is this a mathematical or a business decision? Does this make money sense? Not does it make me feel good or does it make me sad? Having goals for the money, I mentioned that. Sinking funds. Sinking funds is like a savings account that you set up for different goals. So let's say, for example, the holidays just passed, and let's say you spent $2,000 on the holidays and it messed up your whole budget for the month. What you could do is next year, you're going to spend around $2,000. You could just have a certain amount being set aside every month into a sinking fund for the holidays. So that way, by the time December comes around this year, you'll have the $2,000 in there cash, and you can take that money and you can go Christmas shopping or holiday shopping, and it won't impact your budget for that month. So sinking funds, a lot of times we'll set that up for car maintenance. If you're self-employed, we'll set that up for your taxes. We'll set that up for holiday spending, vacations, all of those. You can set up, a ton of sinking funds if you want, and you can automate the amount of money going in every single month. You can have money coming out of your paycheck or out of your checking account. Hiring a coach. This is just like working out, right? If I tell myself I'm going to work out at 6 a.m. in the morning, chances are I'm not, because I have a newborn baby and I'm exhausted. I've been up all night. Me getting up at 6 a.m. is probably not going to happen. But if I hire a coach and that coach is there waiting on me and saying, hey, you're paying me, you need to be here, chances are I'm probably going to go, right? Because someone is waiting on me to show up and someone's checking behind me and making sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So hiring a third-party person who's not emotionally involved in your situation moves mountains. Also, a coach is going to have a lot of experience because they've worked with a lot of different people and they've seen a lot of different things. So they're going to have ideas to share with you and recommendations that maybe you haven't thought of. And they're also going to help you implement those things. Community. This is so important. Watch who you spend time with. If you're spending time with people who don't have their financial situation together and they're just doing all kinds of crazy stuff with their money, you're going to feel justified in doing the same. You're going to feel like that's normal, right? I always tell this story when I went out with this group of girls. It was about 6 girls. They all had on red bottoms. And I remember thinking, I want some red bottoms. You know, I want to go get some of those, you know? And then in my mind, I was like, I'm not spending $1,200 on a pair of shoes that depreciate when I'm looking at my brokerage account and it's going up every day. That $1,200 is invested and is making me money. It's not smart for me to go buy the red bottoms, but because we're surrounded by this every day, everywhere I go, people have Louis Vuitton bags, you know, red bottoms, every nice cars. I want those things. I'm human too. But I have to say to myself, Angela, what is really making you wealthy? What is going to make a difference in your life? You know, I was able to leave my company and my corporate job and start my own business because I had saved, because I had planned for that. And a lot of times I know we feel stuck. We feel stuck in our job. Some people feel stuck in their relationship. You feel stuck in a lot of different ways. And in order to get out of that, you have to do different than everyone else around you. So community is important. Try to surround yourself with other people who are trying to be prudent with their money. Okay. People, if you want to go out to eat, hey, why don't we have a potluck? Why don't we go hang out at the beach? That's free, right? Why do we have to go spend all this money every time we hang out? You know, I was talking to someone the other day and she was telling me that her friend is constantly planning vacations. And every time she does, she feels the need to go. And so she's going on, you know, 12 or 15 trips a year. Well, maybe she needs to talk to that friend about, hey, I'm on a financial diet. I'm trying to get out of debt. I'm trying to save. I'm trying to create wealth for myself, or I'm just trying to like get out of this rat race. And, you know, please don't come to me with these trips for a little while, maybe for the next 6 months or the next year or whatever, right? Baby steps. This is so important. Just like with dieting, when you make drastic changes in your situation, it's very hard to stick to it. So if I'm going on a diet, I might say, okay, I'm not going to drink sugary drinks anymore. I'm going to drink water. That's going to be one of my baby steps. Then I might say, okay, no more carbs, right? So I'm going to cut out carbs. I'm going to take baby steps until I have made a lifestyle change. It's the same with financial stuff. If you try to do this big drastic change, what's going to happen is you're going to backslide. You're going to feel guilty. You're going to just give up. It's going to feel like it's too hard. So it's really important to kind of have grace with yourself and mercy and have a plan, like a step-by-step plan. And you're just taking one step at a time. That first step might be taking your credit cards and putting them in a bowl of water in the freezer. I don't know. Everyone's different, but been there, done that. That's why I'm using that example. Mindset. You have to be thinking selfishly about your money. You have to think, I want to make myself rich instead of all these other people. So that's huge. And then simplicity. This is probably one of the most important ones. When it comes to managing your money, you need to keep it simple. When you start trying to do all these super detailed, complex things with your financial situation, it becomes overwhelming, and it's going to be the number one thing that you procrastinate on. It's going to be, oh, I don't have time to do that. Let me do it this weekend. Oh, I don't want to do it this weekend. Let me do it Monday. Oh, it's Monday. I'm busy. Let me do, and you're never going to do it. So keeping your finances as simple as possible. And that's where the automation comes into play. If you can automate, that's the best thing ever, because that's the simplest way to do it. And then it's getting done and you don't actually have to sit there and do it. I was at a conference just this week where Eric Thomas, the motivational speaker, was speaking. And he said this, and I was like, He said, some of you invest more in Louis Vuitton than you invest in yourself. And this is true. I see this all the time. So many of us are just spending on so many things, and we're not putting anything aside for ourselves. We're not saving anything, you know? And really, you'll see when I get to the budget section, I advocate paying yourself first. Everybody else comes second to you. You need to pay yourself first. So let's get into it. So money mindset and behavioral finance. Behavioral finance is the study of how emotional behavior affects investors. It goes beyond investing, and it also goes to our spending habits. If you didn't know this, there are actual financial disorders out there. You know, some of them are hoarding, overspending, shopaholics, under earning is one of them. You know, I've met people who have PhDs and they're making $30,000 a year. I would say that that's under earning. So behavioral finance is becoming more and more common, and believe it or not, there's actually therapists out there who do financial therapy, and that's what their sole focus on is on. Financial planners, we consider all these things in how you're investing. Are you likely to stick with your strategy? You know, what are the knee-jerk reactions that you're likely to make when it comes to saving or investing or whatever it is. And then money mindset is the other thing that I've been talking about this whole time. Just how do you think about money? Maybe it's the way you grew up. Maybe you saw your parents doing something. Maybe you see your friends doing something. Maybe you feel like, you know, one of the things I hear all the time is, what if I die tomorrow? Well, what if you live tomorrow? You know, I went to a conference one time, and there was a specialist speaking on lifespan, and he was saying that our generation is likely to live to be 115 or 120 years old. So if you think that you're going to die tomorrow, you might have a sad awakening that, hey, I'm going to be living for another 60 years after I retire. If I retire when I'm 60 and I don't die till I'm 115, well, that's a long time. I need to have money saved to live on during that time. Furthermore, I don't even know if Social Security will be around for me at that time, right? We don't know. You know, with this current administration, we're seeing so many changes. We don't know what's going to happen 10, 15 years from now. So you really have to take care of yourself. You have to start thinking long term, and we're all spending everything that comes in. I'm going to show you an example budget in a second, but you need to be thinking, the money that I'm earning now gives me the potential to create massive wealth for myself. I have the decision. What am I choosing to do with it, right? If you have $8,000 coming in per month or $16,000 of income or whatever your income is, that money's coming in, and then you're choosing what you want to do with it. You can either spend it all or you can start saving, and that's your choice. That's a choice we all have to make, right? But when we see people out here driving nice cars and having nice things, we think they're living their best life. But the truth of the matter is, there's something to be said for having security, to look in your bank account and see that you have 100 grand in there, or you have 600 grand in the bank, or you have $5 million in the bank. There's security and there's peace of mind that comes along with that, that is just as great, if not greater, than having all the material items and all the trips and all that. Now, I do believe in balance, so I'm not saying you shouldn't spend money or you shouldn't treat yourself, but going back to the example of the kid in the candy store, you can't have all the candy, right? You need to pick one. Every now and then you have some candy, but you also have well-balanced meals. And that's how your financial situation is. It needs to be well-balanced. You need to be saving as well. And obviously paying off debt and trying to get rid of it. So let's go into creating a budget and attacking debt. So I'm going to show you guys a budget. So bear with me one second. So the first thing you should do when you're creating your budget is that you should use an aggregation tool, something like mint.com, for example, where you load all your accounts in there, because otherwise you're going to have to go to every single account and do this. So by having an app like mint.com or something similar, you can load all your accounts in there. And then what you do is you download all the transactions. So this is just a sample that I created, a make pretend transaction list. If let's say I downloaded all my transactions and this is what came up for the last 3 months. Now in an Excel spreadsheet, right? Now I can sort them. I can say, oh, this was lobster bar, that was eating out. Oh, this is entertainment. Oh, Chevron gas, that was gas, right? So now I can categorize all these things, and then I can sort them. And then I can see, okay, this is how much I spent on auto and transport. This is what I spent on bills and utilities. This is what I spent eating out. This is what I spent on entertainment, so on and so forth. Then you're going to go into the budget template, which is this right here, which I'm going to share with you guys later. I'm going to give this to you. And you're going to put all your numbers in here. So, you know, you're going to put in all your savings first. Remember how I mentioned you always want to pay yourself first? This is why I have savings listed first. You want to have your 401k, your IRA, your brokerage account, your savings, checking, any type of savings accounts you have. Then you're going to list all your debts, you know, mortgage if you have one, student loans, car loans, credit cards, you name it, you list them, you list the interest rate. So many times I ask people, what's the interest rate on your credit card? Or what's the interest rate on your student loan? They don't know. So if you were to do this exercise, you would know what your interest rates are. And this is important because look at this credit card right here. It's 24.99. If you were my friend and I said, hey, I'm going to lend you $5,000, but you need to pay me 25% interest, you would look at me like I lost my mind. But yet we're willing to pay these credit card companies ridiculous amounts of money all the time without even thinking twice about it. And I'm talking about on dumb stuff. We're out here buying shirts and buying just stupid stuff, and we're paying these people 20, 30% interest for no reason. So it's important to know what you're paying because, again, the mindset. Once you know that this credit card is 25%, you're going to be hesitant to use that thing. So you're going to list your interest rates, the balance owed, and then your monthly payment. Then you're going to list all your recurring bills. So if you have rent, you would list that here, phone bill, electric bill, cable, whatever you have, you're going to list all those bills here. And then the last section is discretionary spending. Discretionary spending is where a lot of people do the most. So you're going to put, you know, how much you're spending in groceries, how much gas, eating out, going out, Starbucks, or whatever your, you know, addictions are. Sometimes people have Amazon addictions. Uber Eats is huge. Instacart is huge. So whatever you're spending on, you want to list it here. And then up here, you're going to list where your income is coming from. So maybe you get a paycheck on the 15th and the 30th. You're going to put that here. Maybe you get a bonus. And you can do this budget on a monthly basis. So you can have a tab for January, February, March, April, and monthly you can go in and look at this. Now this person, this is just an example. This person is earning $7,600 a month net after taxes. This is their take-home pay, but they're spending $9,105. So they're spending $1,500 more per month than what they make. So how can they save and how can they pay off debt if they're spending more than they make? This is the reason why they have credit card debt. If you're spending more than you make and you just see your credit card debt piling up, it's because of this right here. Because one of the cardinal rules of personal finances is spend less than you make. So ideally, if you're making $7,600, maybe you're only spending $5,000, and that gives you $2,600 to save, right? Here, there's a breakdown of where they're spending. Well, they're only saving 3.9% of their income. Almost 30% of their income is going towards debt repayment. 11% is going towards bills, and 55% of this person's income is going towards discretionary spending. So obviously, if you look at this pie chart, you really want to have more in savings. You want to try to eliminate debt, and you want to, you know, reduce your bills as much as possible and discretionary spending. So you want to increase savings and try to reduce everything else. Here, this is their liquid net worth. Liquid means savings minus debt. Okay, so this person has $214,000 saved, but they have $452,000 of debt if you include their mortgage. So their liquid net worth is negative $237,000. Now, if you look at their debt, their mortgage is $342,000. So that's a big chunk of it. But let's look at all the other debt. With all the other debt combined, they have $110,000 of debt. When you look at this individually, it doesn't really look that bad. Like, oh, you have, a $58,000 student loan. Oh, that's not too bad, But when you add this up, hey, that's $80,000. Or when you add up these credit cards here, this credit card is $8,000. This one's $5,000, $3,000. When you add these up alone, maybe they don't seem that bad. But when you add them up, that's $19,000 of credit card debt. So visually seeing this on your paper or on your spreadsheet changes your mindset, because now you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize I had this much debt. I never, realized there's $100,000 of debt here. So just knowing that alone is hopefully going to change some of your decisions. Now, for the average person, they see this, they're going to feel overwhelmed. Like, this is ridiculous. How am I going to pay off this debt? Well, that's what I'm here to show you. Okay. First of all, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go through your budget and you're going to highlight all the things that you don't need or the things that maybe you can reduce. So first of all, this person's paying $220 on a cell phone. Okay. Why is that? Maybe they have their main line, they have a watch, they have, the tablet line, whatever. Maybe they're paying for someone else's phone bill. So what I do is I'll go in and say, hey, let's review this one. Let's try to reduce this. Your electric bill, hey, start turning the lights off, maybe when you leave and that kind of thing. The water and trash bill looks good. Do you really need cable TV? Why don't you maybe get a Hulu subscription or, some other kind of streaming subscription for $50 instead of paying $157 for cable? Car insurance. Hey, when's the last time you've negotiated this, right? You have car insurance through this car insurance company, but have you gotten a quote in the last few years to maybe see if somebody can offer you a lower car insurance rate? Because this is kind of high, right? And gym membership. Are you actually going to the gym? If you're not going, then let's eliminate this. If you are, then that's great, right? Let's keep this. Or let's see if there's a way for you to get a gym membership for less, right? Then we're going to go through here. Well, $850, man, you're spending a lot on groceries. Maybe you can reduce the amount you're spending on groceries by going to the store instead of using Instacart. Or maybe you can buy stuff that's on special, right? Or instead of buying lobster, you buy chicken breast or whatever it is, right? Going out and entertainment, eating out, $680. You say, hey, maybe I need to eat at home more. A lot of times eating out, it's because people will buy breakfast on their way to work. They'll go out for lunch and then they'll eat out at dinner as well. So one of the things that I've done is I'll eat oatmeal in the office. When I was working in corporate, I would have oatmeal in the office. That's dirt cheap. For lunch, I would bring my lunch, or I would have canned soups in the cabinet at work, and I would just heat up soup. And then at dinner, usually I would cook something. And every now and then I would go out to eat when it's a special occasion or when friends invite me out. Going out and entertainment, you can reduce that. Starbucks, you can make your own coffee or drink the free coffee at work. So you just go through and you start reducing things and eliminating as much as possible. And then whatever that extra money is you can come up with, you're going to use that towards savings and towards debt. Okay, so you're going to try to get this right here to where you're spending less than you make. And then we're going to take that extra money and we're going to start putting part of it towards savings and part of it towards eliminating debt. Now, a lot of you have probably heard of the debt snowball. And this is one of my favorite tools to use, and I've done the math on this. The debt snowball works best. What the debt snowball is you basically list all your debts from least to greatest, and then you pay the minimum balance on each one. Let me make this larger so you guys can see. So I'm going to aggressively pay off this credit card right here because this is the smallest balance, okay? So let's say that I freed up an extra $500 a month to put towards this. I'm gonna pay this off in about 2.5 months, right? Then I'm gonna take that $500 plus this payment right here. So now I'm gonna take $525 that I was paying here, and I'm going to add that to this $47 payment, and I'm going to pay until this is paid off, okay? Then I'm gonna take that $525 plus the 47 plus this $130 right here. I'm gonna take that whole amount, which is close to $700, and I'm going to pay towards this credit card every month. What you're doing here is you are quickly paying off debts. And not only that, but you're seeing progress, which then is motivation to keep moving forward. Not only that, but you've eliminated all of these payments right here. That's $200 right there. Once you knock out this one, it'll be $423. So when you combine the 423 with this 525, that's over $1,000. Now you're applying that to this. And so you can see when you do that, you start paying off debt very quickly. Okay. So moving forward, this is my business partner, Ariel. We have two companies, like I mentioned. We have Modern Money Advisor, where we do financial planning for young professionals. We help you set up a budget. We help you pay off debt. We help you invest. We help you think about estate planning, like a will, a healthcare directive, all those things, insurance. We do full financial planning. And then we also have this company, which is Modern Money Education. And this is our financial literacy company. And the reason I'm doing this webinar is because we're actually launching a mastermind group. It's going to be a small group. It's going to be 12 people max. And we're going to be going through a whole series of things like this. It's going to be a 4-week program. And it's going to be a group setting. So there'll be group discussions, there'll be education, there'll be kind of accountability type scenarios. So I wanted to just let you guys know that we're launching that. I'm going to be sending this as an email to everyone. And I'll also be promoting it on social media. If you're not following us already, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Modern Money Education, or Modern Money Advisor is our financial planning firm. And now I'd like to open it up for Q&A. So there's